Erlichman, editor of On the Frontlines. I'm here with a one-on-one interview with Dave Gruber, Vice President of DoD Programs for Merlin International. We're here talking about Air Force bandwidth congestion. And Dave, first of all, tell me, what major network challenges do you see facing the Air Force today?
The Air Force is in the process of converting to an Air Force network. That means that they're going to have 16 interface points with the Department of Defense Global Information Grid, or the NIPRNet. There's going to be a huge amount of traffic flowing through those 16 points. In addition to that, the Department of Defense recently authorized the use of social network and media. What that will do is further exacerbate the problem by increasing the flow between the users of Facebook and Twitter and applications like that. So the amount of data flowing through the network is going to increase dramatically. A second problem coupled with that is the fact that all that information has to be analyzed from an information protect point of view. In other words, that data has to be analyzed to determine that the right information is flowing through, none of the wrong information is flowing through, and that the Department of Defense and the Department of the Air Force is protected. That's going to require a lot of work, and it's going to create significant challenges for the Air Force.
Well, it seems as if there's a lot of bandwidth congestion. I mean, what are you recommending to your customers as a solution to that issue?
Merlin's been working this for a number of months, putting together a solution that incorporates Riverbed-WAN, wide area network optimization, as well as NetApp storage. What we're analyzing, or what we've determined is that we can eliminate the information flow through the network because these products allow us to identify information that has previously flowed through the network. For example, an email. You send an email from your computer, you're sending it to 10 computers. The way the Riverbed works is that it'll look at that email, send it to the first person, and each of the nodes, say the people that you're sending it to are outside of the Air Force, so it flows through multiple nodes. But once it's gone through a node, the node is smart enough to know that when it goes to the second node, the first node can say, I've already seen that traffic, don't send the entire traffic again, only send a pointer, and that information will go out. So as a result of that, once information has flowed through a node, it doesn't have to flow through the node again. Simply a pointer to that location. Again, a PowerPoint file, a 5 megabit PowerPoint file, goes to this person, goes through the node, goes to a person on the other side. It has to go to other people. The second time it comes to that point, the node is smart enough to know I've already sent it before and won't send it again to the remote location.
So now that the solution is in place, what kind of efficiencies do you see in bandwidth utilization?
Riverbed has measured improvements in a neighborhood of 3 to 5%. In some cases, it's much higher than that. Now, let me be clear. When we're talking about information flow, there's information flow of new material. If I have a UAV, an aircraft, a Predator aircraft sending video, each bit of that is a brand new bit. So that won't have any compression at all. If, on the other hand, I'm sending a weather graphic, and I'm sending that weather graphic to 5 or 6 different wings at different locations across the world, if it's gone through that gateway once, it won't go through again because of the fact, if it's gone between the two gateways, because of the fact it's already been known, it's already been measured. So it hits the first one says to the second one, instead of sending you a 10 meg file, a 5 meg file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a pointer. The second location gets the pointer information, goes into its archive, pulls out that 5 or 10 meg file, and sends that on. That's where the savings come from. That's what the bandwidth utilization is all, or the bandwidth utilization savings is all about.
There must be some efficiencies in storage.
Yes, there are, but in a slightly different way. What the NetApp application does, or the network appliance does, is it identifies information that has already been stored on a drive. For example, if you have 10 people and they each have a copy of the same, again, weather graphic, instead of having 10 copies of that weather graphic on the hard drive, on the network appliance drives themselves, it'll only have one, and then pointers to everybody else. So you need significantly less storage than you would if you had 10 copies of that weather graphic.
You know, when you first came on board, and first of all, congratulations on your recent appointment, you talked about Merlin having a unique approach to support critical requirements, especially when it comes to integrating emerging and innovative technologies. Can you talk a little bit about how Merlin actually does that, and what, why you came to Merlin? Because with your background, with your 25 years in the military, your 30 years of overall experience, it would seem like you could have written your own ticket.
Thank you. Merlin did something that I've talked to many companies, and Merlin did something unusual. Merlin has invested in their own architects and engineers using overhead dollars to go out and learn the architectures of our customers. The primary customers are the Veterans Administration, the Air Force, and Special Forces community. Then what they've done is, by analyzing that architecture, Merlin spends a lot of time talking to companies with disruptive technologies. Then Merlin measures the impact of that technology. Does it significantly increase mission effectiveness? Does it significantly reduce cost of ownership? What does that technology do in the eyes of our customers? And the way we do that is we take that technology, apply it against the as-is architecture of our customer, then take a look at the to-be architecture and measure the effect, the change, that delta change. If it makes a large change, that's a product that Merlin carries, and that's a product that we incorporate into Merlin solutions. If it doesn't make a large change, then we don't. We pass on that company and we look for the next disruptive technology. I found that fascinating because a lot of companies don't do that. A lot of companies wait until a RFP comes in, a request for proposal, from a government entity that says, we're looking for a solution for this problem. And then the company will pull together the people that they always deal with on all of those types of things, and they come up with a solution that will look very similar to other companies that talk to the same cast of characters when developing their solutions. Merlin doesn't do that. Merlin brings disruptive technologies and disruptive solutions both to our customers and to our partners that we work with, and I found that fascinating.
So I would take it that this kind of approach is what Merlin has taken for this solution for the Air Force.
Absolutely. Integrating the Riverbed with the NetApp, pulling taking care of the gateways, determining ways to eliminate the bandwidth constraints that the Air Force has. That is disruptive. That eliminates a lot of the costs of circuits. If you have expanding requirements and you don't have expanding funds to pay for more bandwidth, eliminating the bandwidth, finding ways simply not to send data between 2 points because it's already been sent before, is a significant cost savings.
Can you just quickly talk a little bit about, this seems to be going on a lot between bases. What's the application out in the field? I mean, what's the application in a war zone? I mean, how would this help the airmen in the field?
The airmen in the field would, well, frankly, the good news is that as bandwidth increases, or as network utilization increases and bandwidth is constrained, the airmen won't hit the return and wait for 5 minutes for the screen to paint. Because we've eliminated a lot of the traffic, and say, for example, a YouTube video. Someone wants to download a YouTube from their base at Balad or one of the remote Air Force bases. If because they're now allowed to use YouTube, which they're never allowed to use before, if that YouTube video has come to that base, when the next airman clicks the button to see that YouTube video, that request won't even have to leave the Air Force base because that information is going to come from the local center to the user. And the third and the fourth and the fifth, every one of those people will see that video immediately without having to go all the way back to the YouTube server. So number one, their user interface or their user experience improves. Number two, the Air Force doesn't have to pay for transporting that video over and over and over again from the source location to the destination location.
Thank you for taking the time out today to talk with us. This is Jeff Erlichman, editor of On the Front Lines, with a one-on-one with Dave Gruber from Merlin International.